Hello everyone and welcome to my video. This texture video is going to be about making a wood ball, making a round wooden shape. So this is actually a pretty easy one to do. What I like to start off with, the epitome of what a wood texture to me is typically wood planks. So what I like to do is go ahead and start the wooden planks themselves, the in-between the planks. And I got my little round ball going. I'm not going to make it out of a whole bunch of wood planks. Just a few. That'll be good enough. Now right now this looks like more like a sports ball of some kind. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and define the wood planks on top a little bit. And in between these planks, I'm going to try to make it look like there's a divot. Just a little bit of an area where it goes down inside. Now I'm not going to do too much of it on the sides as much as I am in the middle. I'm just going to make the side areas a little bit darker. I'm going to put a little bit of a line to show where the edge is in those spots, but it's not like the V that I got going on, it's like half a V. And I'm going to go ahead and define my edges here. Okay, so then the next thing I like to do is figure out where my knot holes are going to be. And one of the things that really makes something look like wood is the knot holes. So keep that in mind. And knot holes tend to be a little bit more tear-shaped. You can make really round ones. But make sure to make a variety of shaped knot holes, not just long ones or round ones, or you can even do a double knot hole where they've kind of overlapped over the top of each other a little bit. All right. And I'm going to put a big knot hole right in here. Now, these longer knot holes do typically have a rounder center to them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and try to make it look like it has a shape all of its own separate from the rest of this knot hole. But I'm going to darken this knot hole in with just lines. Now that I have this line coming off here, I'm going to make it connect to this knot hole up here, and I'm going to round it off going upwards. And then I'm just going to follow the outline shape. Does not have to be perfect, does not have to be uniform. We are just wanting to kind of taper off here at the ends to show that this thing is round. The only place where you're going to have anything close to looking like a straight line is going to be down the middle of the ball. And we can even stop in some places some of our lines, and that's a choice for you to decide when you want to just draw a line, la 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 la, and I stop there. And I'm going to come from another direction, just because that's how my brain works. I like going from multiple areas. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again. And there we have it. We are getting our first plank done pretty easily. Now another way that I'll show you a couple of other ways to do knot holes after. Now if you start noticing when you're getting closer to the edge here, you're going to want it to appear a little bit straighter. And if that means that there are more gaps in between your lines, that's fine. Then there will be more gaps in between. This is how we give the sense of form and roundness. Now for this knot hole, I want to do a little bit differently. Basically spiraling around it. And there's really nothing that I'm being consistent about here. Some of my lines are touching. Some of them get so close that they are just, it looks like I'm just doing a bigger line. That's okay. Now this one after you do this for, a few times, now I'm going to go ahead and go upwards. And now at this point, I'm doing the exact same thing I was doing on the other side. There we go. Now when it comes to these outer edges, we got to do a little bit something different. Instead of going with a straight line down the middle, right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and do this, but I'm going to try to curve it instead of just going straight down like how the knot hole kind of was doing. I'm going to go around and around it, just like I did with this one, just so that way I can have a little bit of variety going on. But I'm going to try to tilt it this direction more and more as I'm going around. And I'm also curving it, so that way I'm following the shape, this outer shape here. And then I'm going to go off the edge. Just like before. There we go. And now we got this little knot hole here. It would be kind of boring to just spiral out from around him. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple of circles around him. And we're going to slightly change their shape as we go. And I'm going to tilt down this way, and I'm going to tilt up that way, and then just continue making my stripy lines as I did before. Now my lines, as they get closer and closer to the edge, the closer and closer they're going to get to themselves. And there we go. We have a wood ball. Now if you want to make the gaps look a little bit more in depth in between, go ahead and just kind of, give it a little bit of a darker line. Kind of helps that wood plank feel. But you also don't have to do that. You can just make it a solid wood wall. And I always find it easier to start with the knot holes first. And some knot holes will have cracks in them. And those cracks are usually very hard to see. So I'll just put some darker lines in some places. Some squiggles is about what it amounts to add that depth to it. And if you wanted to from there, you could pick a light source direction. So let's say my light source is coming from this way. So that would make my darker areas over here. And you can go darker under here and so on. And if you find that you're starting to lose, you would lose those lines, the darker and darker you go. But if you feel like in the mid-tone area, which I would really call this a mid-tone, I'd need to work on this more to get it to a certain darkness level. You can always go in and darken up some of those areas so that way you don't lose your lines, and then just let them fade away into the original lines you had. So there is the next texture class, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!